And who knew you could get so fired up when you're talking about trade? I don't know if they do behind closed doors in those meetings Edward was describing, but apparently sometimes when you talk about it on television, you do. Now, I'm told we're getting a lot of reaction to an interview we did on this program yesterday. I'm not sure if that's actually true or if it's just a bunch of our producers in the control room speaking to each other about it, but it was a doozy between two self-described conservatives. Lee Speakerman on the one side and our old friend Jonathan Hoenig on the other. Here's part of it.
And I love Jonathan. We agree on most issues, but I don't understand why he and other conservatives love income taxes. They have a problem with tariffs.
So he's basically saying, hey, we need these taxes, higher taxes, and that's
we're going to have to raise income taxes, Jonathan. Do you want that? Income taxes are better.
No economist agrees with this. No member of the Federal Reserve.
The economist who got us in the mess that we're in. We have an $800 billion goods trade deficit, a $550 billion overall trade deficit. Don't tell no other major exporter in the G20.
We thought we lost poor Jonathan there for a moment. But, you know, with China hunkering down, as Edward was talking about, is this really an issue that will divide Republicans leading into November if those two, if you can believe, have both been Republicans or voted that way in the past? Well, let's bring in a Louisiana Republican Congressman Mike Johnson to talk trade. I'm sure Congressman in a much more subdued fashion than those two yesterday. But it kind of brings up a serious issue is that, boy, this president has had quite an effect on your party when it comes to this issue. He's kind of flipped the conventional wisdom and, you know, turned some people around when it comes to trade. Do you feel it's caused a divide, though?
There's a healthy debate, I think, going on within the Republican conference and members of Congress and out in the country at large. I'm in my district right now. We're in the middle of the August work period, and I'm around talking to small business owners in various industries. I have a lot of agriculture in my district in northwest Louisiana, as well as businesses in virtually every industry. Right now, I saw a poll that was published just on Fox News last night that 71% of small business owners support the president's strong stand against China because they know that they're an unfair trade practices offender. And you know, you have to do this with a scalpel at some point, not necessarily a sledgehammer.
Right.
But I think right now most people support holding a strong hand.
On that point, do you find from speaking to people anecdotally that some people, even maybe a large number that voted for the president last time around, support these policies even if it's not in their self-interest to do so?
Well, I think a lot of people do because I think they trust the president and his approach on it. We're cautiously optimistic. Of course, we have to be concerned about unintended consequences throughout the economy. That's always something to be wary of. But at least with China, we know that there's such a huge disparity in how they handle these things. You know, in the past, they've engaged in outright media propaganda to try to dissuade Chinese citizens from buying American products. They're not above doing those types of things, and we have to treat them as such and deal with them appropriately.
Now, I notice you're steering it back to China because a lot of people do agree with you that China's a bad actor in all of this. As you know, though, the president's gone after more than just China, you know, whether it be the Canadians sometimes it's the Europeans, and trying to cut a deal with those countries when it comes to trade. We had the report on NAFTA as well. So there's a lot more than just China on this. Where are you philosophically? I would assume if you've been a Republican, you at least were a big advocate of free trade. Have you changed? I mean, how do you look at the issue now?
I've always been an advocate of free trade. You know, I understand what the president's saying when he says we believe in free trade, but also fair trade. The question is, the devil's in the details. How do you ensure that? I do think we have to have a very different approach with our allies in Western Europe, with Canada and Mexico, our neighbors nearby.
So
because
tariffs
it's not
against
the
the
same
Europeans,
as China. It's a very different scenario.
That doesn't make sense to you. Tariffs against the Europeans, no. Going after China, though, with tariffs, yes.
Yeah, I think that's about right. That's where I fall, and I think a lot of members of the Republican conference do as well. We trust the president, we trust the strategy, but we're hoping that you know, we can really focus on the ones who are the bad actors, and I think that's where most of the small business owners are as well.
Totally understand it. The question is whether it's the right method, the tariffs. Is there any other way to do it other than just tariffs, tit-for-tat tariffs? Is there any other suggestion you even have for the president?
Well, you know, one of the purposes of the World Trade Organization, as ineffective as they may be sometimes for our preferences, I mean, there are mechanisms in place to deal with that. And it's not just a talking point. We say, let's deal with it with a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. I think you got to be very careful about how you address this. We want America to be treated fairly. I think America first is the right priority. I think it makes sense for us, but we got to be very careful about how we go about implementing that strategy.
No, a lot of people say that. A final point, you think it's a plus or a negative trade for the president and the Republicans in the midterm elections? What are you sensing from people you talk to?
Look, I think it's a plus. I'm very confident about our prospects in November. Look, the economy's going well. It's because of our pro-growth, pro-business policies. We got to continue that. The Democrats would reverse it, and that's the motivation the American people need to go to the ballot.
Yeah, though many of them agree with the president on the trade issue, funny enough, maybe not taxes. But Congressman, thank you. Congressman Mike Johnson, Republican out of Louisiana.